Hello and welcome. You're watching Best of the Bets. My name's Christina Nicolaides and we have a cracking weekend of football action for you, from FA Cup to European action to one Premier League game. Now I have our regular guest with me, football expert and editor of bestofthebets.com. It's Sam Diamond. And I always feel like I need like a clapping machine or something. And we also have our bookie extraordinaire, looking great for 9 months pregnant. It is Gareth Walker.
Should just clarify that's not me, it's the pregnant one.
It's me.
So the first game we're going to look at, Luton Town versus Millwall.
Should be a good game. I'm really looking forward to this one. Luton 3.8, the draw's 3.5, and Millwall a 2 to win.
I think the thing with Luton is they've really revelled in the tag of underdogs since they've dropped down to the conference. It's their fourth season in the conference.
Yeah.
They've been a huge scout for everyone. They've always been the club that has done well as the underdog, and in the conference they haven't been. So you'd like to think they're now back in that position, but because this game has such significance, because of sort of past history,
yeah,
I think that kind of goes. It's going to be a very tense affair, and I just think that could end up, we could be in a very low scoring afternoon.
It should be a great game. I mean, you look at the form that the two teams are in, they're both in a terrible run of form. It really is that the Cup is like taking up all the attention. Millwall lost 3 in a row, conceded a last-minute winner in the week. And Luton haven't won in 4 since they had that memorable win at Norwich. I think they've only actually scored twice in 6 games. So, you know, who's going to sort of rise above the mediocre football that they've been playing? Luton bidding to become the first team since the war to be in the 6th round, first non-league team. The draw has been really kind to them. They drew Wolves when Wolves were out of form, Norwich when Norwich were out of form, and now Millwall when Millwall are out of form. And I think that I'm prepared to think there'll be enough magic and romance left in this cup that Luton can deliver and nick a win against Millwall, who 5th earlier in the season but slipping down to 12th. Let's be positive. There'll be a shock, and then Luton in the quarterfinals.
There's pressure on Luton for this game as well as Millwall.
I like Luton to nick it 1-0.
Well, I think it will be low scoring.
Repeat of the 1-0 would be 9.4 for Luton to win 1-0, and you can't really see many goals.
No goal scorer is going to be my pick.
No goal scorer, which is 10.5. I wouldn't put off either of those bets.
Okay. Arsenal-Blackburn next. Now, same time last year, it finished 7-1.
I think there'll be goals, and if you're going to look at goals and if you're going to look at Arsenal shaking up their already shaky defence, then why not Jordan Rhodes, the 8 million signing from Huddersfield for Blackburn. He's scored 8 in his last 8 games for them. He equalled a club record for scoring in consecutive games. I think at 2.8 at any time looks a decent bet.
Wouldn't put you off that. Arsenal 1.25, the draw's 6, and Blackburn 10.6 to pull off what would be a big shock. And the road's anytime 2.8.
What about you, Gareth?
It's got to be the Oldham-Everton clash for me. Oldham, of course, beat Liverpool in the last round, as predicted by our guru himself. I don't know how he picked that out, because Oldham had absolutely zero form going into it. They finally won a league game on Saturday, which was the first time that's happened for a long time, since the start of December. So, but apart from that, they've done nothing apart from beat Liverpool. Everton, I've been very positive about Everton all season. I'm a bit worried about them because they haven't played as well. That was their worst performance of the season at Old Trafford, which was very disappointing. And there's always goals in these games. A couple of bets I really like here. Both teams to score is 1.9, and I think Everton will get through, but I think it'll be a lot closer than perhaps you'd think. 3-2 to Everton is 18.4. 2-1 to Everton is 8. If anyone does think there'll be a repeat of the shock and Oldham winning 3-2, that's available at 35. Good luck to anyone that wants to try that bet.
So we're going to hear what Mike Holden has to say about MK Dons versus Barnsley.
The MK Dons v Barnsley match is an intriguing one from a psychological perspective. Barnsley were looking doomed a few weeks ago until David Flitcroft took over, and it's been a miraculous turnaround really. 6 wins and a draw since early January. So they're going to be absolutely full of confidence. They've shown great character to come back and win at Middlesbrough last weekend. And there's no signs of the run ending as far as they're concerned. They're riding the crest of a wave at the moment. As for Milton Keynes, the pressure's really on for MK. And this competition, which has been a bit of an escape until this point, is now bringing its own pressure. They'll be expected to beat Barnsley this weekend. The favourites for the game. But I don't think they've been responding well to that sort of pressure at all. And I think this is a good opportunity for Barnsley to make their confidence count.
Yeah, Barnsley are the outsiders. Milton Keynes favourites at 2.4. The draw is 3.4, and the bet that Mike likes there, which is Barnsley, are available at 3.
We're going to move on to European action. We're going to start with Mainz versus Schalke.
Yeah, off to Germany for the Bundesliga. Mainz 2.2, the draw 3.3, and out of form Schalke at 3.
Season really is going from bad to worse for Schalke. 4-0 defeat at Bayern Munich last week. That was pretty much expected considering the state of the two clubs at the moment. But before that, they lost 2-1 at home to Greuther Fürth in injury time, and it was a real shocker. Jens Keller got the job as manager to the end of the season after Hub Stevens got sacked in December, but now it's very doubtful how long he's going to stay. And to be honest, I think if they lose this game, which I expect them to, and they lose to Galatasaray in the Champions League, which I expect them to, I'm pretty certain he'll be out of a job. Thomas Tuchel has done a marvellous job at Mainz in the last couple of seasons, and they've really been one of the surprise packages in the Bundesliga, up there challenging for a European place. They lost to Bayern Munich a couple of weeks ago. That's their only recent defeat, but that was without their top scorer Adam Szalai, who's now back in the team. He's got 12 goals this season, looking very dangerous, linked with Arsenal. So I see no reason why this shouldn't be a home win, just considering the form that the two clubs are in.
Seems to make sense. The future looks pretty bleak for Schalke. I can't see beyond a Mainz win. Looking through sort of Mainz's form this season, it's difficult to establish any patterns. They sort of win, draw, lose. It's all very much of a mixed bag. There's been no sort of run or anything that they've been on at any stage.
I think they're very strong at the Kofes Arena though. Apart from a shock first home defeat in their first home game to Greuther Fürth, they've only lost 2 games, and that was to Bayern and Dortmund, and let's face it, most teams do that anyway.
Half of the course,
So they are strong on their own patch.
Yeah, a couple of options with the bet. If you want to boost your price, you can take Mainz half-time, full-time, which is 3.6. So they have to be ahead at half-time and win the game. Otherwise, there's a fantastic offer that HeavenBet are running.
I was just about to come on to that, but go on.
Don't you worry, I'll make sure that this is passed on, because it really is a cracker. If you place a bet on any team in the Bundesliga this weekend, and they are ahead at half-time but fail to go on and win the game, then HeavenBet will refund your stake. So if you back Mainz at 2.2, they're ahead at half-time, which we expect them to be. If for some reason they don't go and win the game, then you'll get your money back. That applies to any of the 9 games that are happening in the Bundesliga over the weekend.
Okay, fantastic. And we are moving from Germany to Italy, and Roma versus Juventus. So the grappling game at Celtic Park.
Yeah, another high-profile game that Juventus are involved in. Roma 3.5, the draw is 3.5 as well, and Juventus are 2.2. Yeah,
there's been a couple of job vacancies come up at Roma in Rome recently, because it was a couple of weeks ago that they sacked Zeman as manager. So it's been very interesting to see what's happened since then, because he was so concerned with his attacking football and fitness levels. And the assistant now, who's got the job to the end of the season, Andrew Zolli, he came out and straight away said, well, we're gonna go easy on the training sessions, and we're going to do away with the 4-3-3 formation that had been favoured. So I think they lined up 3-5-2 against Sampdoria last week, but it was the same story. They went down 3-1, and it was a game not without its controversy, because Roma got a penalty, and Osvaldo took it upon himself to take it and actually missed, when the actual penalty taker should have been Francesco Totti. And if there's one thing you don't do at Roma, is you don't mess with Francesco Totti.
The key man, very much.
Absolutely.
And they also lost to Cagliari as well.
Yeah, well, that was the game that did for Zeman, really. Was it 4-1 home defeat? It was very embarrassing. I do like Roma. I like a lot of the players there. The new man, he's come in and he's put Stecklenburg back in goal. He's brought De Rossi back into midfield. So he clearly has a set idea what he wants to do. Juventus's win at Celtic, such a comfortable win, now means they can pretty much concentrate on their next 3 Serie A games without having to worry about that second leg. That's pretty much done and dusted. But I think this will be a very good game. And I'm just going to go with the home team.
But do Roma really stand a chance?
Roma do stand a chance. I'll be interested to see how they go, because they've been playing very direct this season, and it'll be interesting to see if that carries on now that Zeman's gone. Totti will be key for this match. How he performs, I think, will basically decide whether whether Roma win or whether Juventus win. I think that this game will be a draw, because that's my first instinct with every Italian game, and at 3.5 for the draw, I like that.
Roma have been caught cold by some of the division's poorer teams this season, well, on numerous occasions, but they have put some spirited performances in against the bigger sides at the Stadio Olimpico. So that's why I'm just going to edge with the home team. I think they beat Milan, they beat Fiorentina, they drew with Inter. I think they got beaten by Juventus in Turin. I think they just might get a little bit of revenge here. I like the prices about Roma.
Yeah, 3.5 Roma, 3.5 the draw, 2.2 Juventus.
OK, and from Italy we're going to Spain, and we're going for the relegation battle. We've got Osasuna versus Zaragoza.
Key game, yeah. Osasuna even money, so priced at 2. The draw 3.4, and Zaragoza 4.2 for a valuable, badly needed away win.
Can they go to Osasuna? It's not a trip they traditionally do well in. They haven't scored on their last 4 visits there. They haven't won in their last 7 since 2003.
And Osasuna need it so much.
Well, Osasuna have started grinding out results. They've dragged themselves off the bottom, and they've yet again made it a very, very hard place for teams to go and get a result. It's kind of been the mainstay of them over the last couple of years, that they've done well at home, and they've won the last 2 games. 2 very big games, home wins against Celta Vigo and Deportivo, who are 2 teams below them in the relegation zone, and also had a gutsy 0-0 draw with Real Madrid. So I think, again, given
so you think that gives Osasuna the edge?
I think they have got the edge, and sort of given, again, the close proximity of the clubs, I think this will be tight, I think it will be tense, but I think that's when Osasuna are at their best, and they can just edge this one.
Osasuna are the most wasteful team in Europe. Their problem hasn't been that they haven't been creating opportunities. I know Mike Holden's very keen on a shot stat. Osasuna are taking 16, needing 16 shots for each goal that they've scored this season. They're creating plenty, but they're not scoring. In contrast,
Liverpool.
Yeah, they've scored 19 in the league. You look at Barcelona, they've scored 78. You know, it's absolutely incredible. On the flip side of that, Osasuna have got the second best defence in La Liga. So I mean, everything really points to not being a lot of goals. But one price that really grabs my attention is to sort of go against that. The fact that these 2 teams aren't scoring is very much factored into the prices. I think Zaragoza have scored 3 in 6 games, but you can get both teams to score for this game. It's available as big as 2.2. And it's unusual that you'd get any odds against quotes really for a game that's against 2 fairly equally matched teams. So I really like the both teams to score, almost go against the trends and the nils that there's been recently. One thing I did notice about Zaragoza, the 4 games they've played against teams in the bottom half away from home, they haven't lost any of them. So maybe they can keep that run going. 1-1, which is 6.5. Or if you fancy Zaragoza to sneak a win, 2-1 is priced at 12.
Okay. I think the first goal will be crucial, because Osasuna have lost every single game that they've fallen behind in. But as Gareth,
they need to get the first goal.
Yeah, Gareth has pointed out what a good defence there is. I think they kept a clean sheet in half their home games. So it's Osasuna by a 1-goal margin for me.
By a 1-goal margin, that's 3.4. So yeah, 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, covering them all.
And best bet for Saturday?
That is a good one. I can't really look beyond Mainz at the moment, just given the form of both them and Schalke.
Mainz at 2.2, and if you back that with Heaven Bet, you get an even better bet, because you've got the insurance if they're ahead at half-time but don't go on to win the game. You'll get your money back. I'm going to go with the non-leaguers, Luton, 3.8. That's my best bet.
Well, I said mine too. Luton to beat Millwall 1-0.
1-0, which you'd think has got to be fairly likely if they're going to win. 9.4 for that. So yeah, we'll be cheering on the underdogs at Saturday lunchtime. Yeah,
we certainly will. For you to place your bets on any of this weekend's action, then head to our website, which is www.heavenbet.com. Do follow us on Twitter at Best of the Bets, and do tweet us, we won't bite. And you can watch this show back on www.bestofthebets.com. Now join us after the break when we look at Sunday's FA Cup action, the European games, and we have one Premier League game too.
Betting site from Poker Heaven.